Hey y'all, it's Cody from the Keepers Nerdom. How y'all doing? For this video, I really wanted to look more, especially focus in on World War II era, just artifacts and things that we've seen today in this museum. It's amazing, the awesomeness that's going on here, and also just like right now, I'm just looking at American Red Cross volunteers, the ladies that served in the war in different pieces, but also then we go to some of these military uniforms from that era of what they served in. And Tony, could you help answer a few questions on exactly what some of these ribbons or the across them mean and what they represent and what all this person went through? Because I don't understand all the patches and the ribbons and what exactly do you call these specifically?
These are called awards or ribbons that you receive for your service.
Okay.
The metal one across the top is a combat infantry badge. And you have the Bronze Star, Army Good Conduct.
So you say Bronze Star. Okay, which one is the Bronze Star?
Bronze Star is the red with the blue in the middle.
The red with the blue in the middle. Okay.
Come on.
Because all of these different little ribbons have significant meaning. But to the uninformed, you look at it and just go, they've just got random colors across their chest, but what exactly do those mean? And that's the beauty of it, is once you understand it, this is identifying how this person has served, how they have shown their bravery in battle. And so these are a big deal.
They are, and I'm trying to...
That's all right. I know there's a lot of these, because as we've walked through this museum, there's a ton of different meanings. I'll try to... So very different ribbons that you could receive for different actions. So even you could just show us one or two of these of what they mean. Like, what's the black and yellow one represent? That looks like a bee.
Black and yellow, those be for things like National Guard service.
National Guard service?
I believe that's correct.
Interesting.
I'm
So
trying to find the...
Does that mean that they were in National Guard and then they got deployed after that into...
I mean, that's just for the longevity term, years of service.
Gotcha.
And for some reason, this is not helping me find...
That's all right. Is that one right there on the end, that one right there at the top?
No, it's
a little different.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying...
How interesting.
Well...
Because it is a blue, it's a blue in the middle. It is. And it's white on the ends. It is that color.
This one right here?
The second one. So what is that one on the top left right here?
Top left is the Bronze Star.
That's the Bronze Star.
And that middle one, the next one's the Army Good Conduct.
Cool. Okay. And we'll keep going, and we'll look at some more uniforms as we go. They even have like actual representations of aircraft carriers from World War II type era, and this was 1945. USS Barnes is apparently a little smaller than what we'd have for an aircraft carrier today. Some of these uniforms are epic. I want to keep us going here. So there's another uniform with its ribbons and then patches as well. So this would be a Air Force. He participated in the first daylight bombing raid on Berlin in 1944. That's really cool. Look at that. And so we come into another room. We do see some like uniforms for ladies that served in the war in different roles, which is really cool to see. And then patches, I'm guessing, for where some of their combat happened. Look at that. And this is like a flight suit worn. So aircraft carrier, Air Force base. It's rather interesting, not very flattering outfit. And then what's really fascinating is inside this case, it actually has information about Enola Gay, the bomber that dropped the bomb on Hiroshima itself. And the reality is that changed things just a bit in World War II and concluded a lot of this. And so what we've got is just fascinating stories of what people have done and what they wore in their military service. I think it's fascinating that sometimes we have this idea that ladies didn't serve in the military, but there was many a time where they were present in battlefields in different situations, in different roles. Now this one was interesting because I had no idea what this was. 10th Mountain Division soldier. So they were specially trained to be in the mountains, but side warning, apparently if you're trained for the mountains, you will also fart out black string. So very important details if you're not careful. Now, what we've got here is again some more uniforms. There's not really any patches on these, or ribbons, I should say. But what we've got here, this was an awesome thing we got to talk a little bit about. This is like a field medics like deployment stuff just to do a quick operation and surgery. Like table operating field. This is like deployable out of a box, just having ready to go. Just get you some quick information here. World War II, antibiotics are first seen, first widespread use. That's insane to think about that they're just that new. And so the introduction of antibiotics was like magic because boys you were sure would die, wouldn't. They got better. But it's fascinating, guys. Look at this. This is amazing. And the tools that they would use to operate on people in the field. This is a big deal. And you've got like, I guess, stethoscope. Tony, do you know what this is? I have no idea what this is. Like we've got like a mask with something, inhaler stuff in there, but what is that? This thing. It's the strangest looking thing I've ever seen.
Some kind of that's some kind of breathing apparatus of some sort. Look at the back side.
Yeah.
That was like a place for nose and mouth.
Here you go. Come.
Sure. Some kind of breathing assisted.
It is. Oh, that's weird though. It's like because this looks like a breathing apparatus, but then this doesn't until you get to the back side of it, and it's very weird looking. And then bedpans haven't changed much apparently, other than plastic to metal. But first aid for gas casualties only. What's in there? That's the interesting thing. This room was also chock full of, okay, like, you guys got to see this. There's like, yeah, 100-pound bomb. Then we've got 250-pound bomb. And this up here is a 500-pound bomb. It just doesn't look like it would weigh 500 pounds, but yet that means there's that much metal there, there's that much explosives. And Tony pointed this out because this is the most amazing, funny thing ever. Like, they would bring an organ out to the field, and the minister, the chaplain, would be responsible for holding church services where he'd even play the organ for people in the field. Like, that's amazing. And so we've got right here, Tony, we got some more ribbons. If we could identify a few of these, that'd be awesome. So this is interesting. So this is...
That's the Navy.
Yep, Navy of Robert E. Eppers. So this would be his dress uniform, and then, so what are do any of these?
I'm not familiar with those names. I
Okay.
have to figure that one out.
Okay, that's all right. 'Cause there's so much here. It's like trying to figure out. We have a wrist compass, not even just a clock, but an actual just compass for your wrist. This is a British number 4 Mark I rifle for World War II. One of my favorite things in this section was an actual early bazooka. And I had this idea that it was so much bigger than it actually is. And this was the round that it would fire out of it. The original bazooka is actually really pretty small. It's not big. It's easily portable. I'm sure it's heavy just because of being metal, but it's not as big as I thought it would be. That later on we'll see like a bazooka that you picture and usually is seen much, much bigger, especially from like movies and stuff. Navy flotation device, grenade pouches. Amazing. And so we've got some more Navy, and this is Air Force. Look at those pins with the propeller on them. Airborne troop carrier. Wow. And so we've got quite the few things, guys, like a Springfield rifle right here. And then the middle one, yeah, M1 Garand. This is an amazing gun that they'll show right down here, has a clip that holds 8 rounds. And what's really cool is you put the clip down in the gun itself as well, and whenever you fire it and then release the clip to reload it, there is a ping sound. And so it's talking about it right here on the information, but it's actually legit. Like, my family owns one of these. We fired it. It does in fact do the ping, and if you play like Modern Warfare or Call of Duty, any of those games that has an M1 Garand, the ping is real. It's exactly what it does. And this last one right here is an M1 carbine. It's a much like smaller gun, lighter weight, smaller rounds. As you can see, like, it doesn't take very big rounds, whereas the Garand's taking what? Tony, I can't ever remember some of the sizes of ammunition. What size is this?
No, what is that? 5.56? Does that sound right?
I cannot remember. Because I always want to just say 7.62 millimeter, but I'm like, then that's not U.S. rounds. So I always go to that as my go-to answer, and I don't know why. Another thing, guys, that is fascinating is that pigeons were a thing, especially in World War I, were used as messengers, but were they still in use during World War II? I mean, it would make sense because, there we go. Equipped with tiny aluminum cameras were used by both sides during World War II to photograph areas too dangerous and heavily fortified to be flown over with planes. Pigeons also took photos of enemy fleets, troops, and targets for air attacks. The small cameras were activated by air rushing through a rubber ball. What?
That is super cool.
I'm guessing that's a message right there. But I didn't realize that for World War II. I knew in World War I it was a big deal because they would even have them for their tanks and use them to send back to base to get information to the headquarters. But imagine being on duty and being told, you need to fire at the pigeon, because if you don't, they're getting information back to base and they'll launch an entire strike here.
Cigarettes.
What is it? What is this?
Cigarettes.
Red Cross nurse stationed in Africa and Italy during World War II compiled this collection of GI cigarette packages. That's weird. Camel.
When smoking was cool.
Yeah, whenever people didn't quite realize how dangerous it was. And that's fascinating that was just a collection that a person collected back in the past just to illustrate what they had. And this is World War II M60 mortar, U.S. mortar, correct, Tony?
Yes.
Yeah. This thing is really cool. How heavy do you think this is, Tony?
I'd say a couple 100 pounds easy.
Couple hundred? Dang.
That tube, look at this face.
Yeah, the metal right there, the tube, yeah. It's just funny because sometimes you look at a thing anymore because we're so used to a plastic world. And
It's
so,
thin diameter, thin.
yeah, there's not a lot of metal like width in there, so I don't know. It's interesting, but these are the shells it would use, an M60 mortar round and a practice round. It's really cool. That is just amazing, guys. Mortar cleaning rod, night sight. Me and Tony were talking about this of like, what is this? What does this exactly mean? How would this work? Because
The operator uses for a night sight.
yeah, because the mortar launches something and it goes up and then comes back down, and so we've got like over here sighting sticks for the M60 mortar, and it's just always interesting to see how sighting works on a weapon that's designed to shoot upward and then come back down. It's not designed to just hit directly. And so, real quick, Tony, could you remind us real quick, what is this, the rifle on the blue background with the laurel behind it mean?
Infantry combat badge.
Infantry combat badge. So can you explain that a little bit?
You had combat, you've had, I need to give better definition here. I'll let you know here.
That's all right. That's all right. So we'll keep looking at that because it's a fascinating thing. And all right, you just saw on my channel a Thompson submachine gun. This is like one from World War II with the stick mag. This is awesome. Right here, World War II gas masks for adults and children. Unfortunately, they're not out of their package, so we can't see. So the Expert Infantryman badge is a special skills badge of the United States Army. Interesting. So it's expert infantry. So they've done their training and hit the level of expert
In combat.
in combat. Machine gun ammo pouches. Those seem a little too small, but I guess not whenever
At the time, it fits right with the magazines.
the stick mags. It's just they're so tall.
Yep.
That's interesting.
45 caliber.
Fight knife used in World War
45 caliber
II.
ammunition.
So cool. 45 caliber. I mean, we're talking pistol rounds, but when you can throw a ton of lead downwind, it's amazing. So sometimes, guys, what's interesting, like these display cases are up probably 6 inches, you'd say, Tony?
Excuse me?
6 inches up.
Yeah, probably.
But what's funny is these uniforms, we're standing at their eye level almost. And so it's interesting to note that like people from this era are actually shorter, and like when we show some of the Japanese side of stuff here in a bit, they're pretty short.
This is Navy, and you probably want to be a smaller person than Navy because
Right.
it's confined space.
But you notice like what you just said, Tony, exactly. Like this is a small person. Like even just
5'2",
he was 5'2".
and a weight of 103 pounds.
What did you just say?
Weight of 103 pounds.
I see it there. What in the world? How old was this kid when he entered?
When he entered, he was 5'2". He enlisted when he was young, I guess.
Yeah, he would have had to because he grew to 5 foot when he was discharged. 5 foot 4.5 inches tall.
He grew 2 inches and gained 15 pounds.
It's a small person. And then the last thing in this room, and then we'll have one little extra piece for here that I want to show you is this. This was a World War II portable runway landing light. But what's funny is it's portable, but yet you have to plug this in. So it does have a plug. This thing, I wish we could actually show you. Tony, would you put your hand in there? And what's funny is this glass, how thick would you say? An inch or more? At least?
I'd say at least an inch.
Because then
inch and a half.
this right here, it's not actually on the inside like layered like
Contoured on
this.
the outside.
Yeah, it's completely just a flat piece, or as flat as it can be in this roundedness, you know what I'm saying? But it's like it doesn't push into these grooves at all. This is completely just one piece of glass in here, and then this thing inside, like that's a weird light that it would use. Mm-hmm. And then a reflective mirror, so all the light is going back out into this area. And so this thing, it's going to light up everything. And this thing is heavy. And you've also got little holes right up here just to let out the heat from this amazing deal. Uniform of Fred Hop. We have that infantry expertise again. And then what's you talked to me a little bit about these, Tony, earlier. What are they?
The different badges. The between rifle and bayonet and different things.
And it's from basic training?
Mm-hmm. You keep up on your skills.
Okay, so we've got rifle, bayonet, carbine, and machine gun. So this person was high honors on those four things. That means apparently he was really good at stabbing people with bayonets. That's amazing. Yeah. And so let's just conclude right here on this note. And actually, here's what we're gonna do. I want to show you one last thing in this next room, but I'm gonna stop talking at this point. I'm just gonna let you read the inscriptions, because we noticed something just last night at Applebee's, that there was a table set up with tablecloth and a rose and some extra little details, and I didn't know what it was, and Tony actually enlightened me. And so I want to show you that information and then one other thing right beside it, and I want you to just read it and reflect, because I'm not going to talk anymore. Here we go.